Hello. We're continuing with life science and cell biology in a nutshell. We're learning about functional groups of molecules. So here we have alkyne, distinguished by single bond, double, and triple, respectively. Alcohol has an OH group. Is OH. Ether is oxygen. And the R's represent the rest of the molecule bound to that atom. Epoxide is similar, so you have the oxygen bound to two carbons and like two substrates on each carbon. And then haloalkane is an X representing halogen. Aldehyde. So you have carbon double bonded to oxygen, hydrogen, and then the substrate, which is R. Ketone is carbon double bound to oxygen, and two substrate or R groups. Carboxylic acid is usually referred to as Cu. So R and then the carbon and then double bound oxygen and an OH group. So acid anhydride, you have carbon, oxygen, carbon, and two oxygens double bound carbons, and then two R groups on either side of carbons. Ester is a carbon double bound to oxygen, and then another oxygen off the carbon, and two R groups on either side. Amide, carbon double bound to oxygen, and then an NH2, nitrogen, and R on the other side. Acyl halide, carbon double bound to oxygen, and the halogen, and an R group. NH2 bound to R is an amine, so you have a nitrogen group. And nitrile is carbon triple bound to nitrogen, and then an R group. Imine, carbon double bound to nitrogen, then three R groups coming out. Two off the carbon, one off the nitrogen. Isocyanate is a carbon double bound to oxygen, and then a nitrogen double bound to the same carbon, and then an R group off the nitrogen. Acyl compound, two nitrogens double bound and R groups coming off each of the nitrogens. Thiol and a sulfur hydrogen to an R group. Arene is a six-membered carbon ring alternating double bonds to an R group. So that's that. So again, looking at the functional groups and the formulas. So alkyl halide or haloalkyne is an R attached to so either fluorine, chlorine, bromide, or iodine. And then alcohol is any R group to an OH. Ether is an R group to an oxygen, and then another R group. So the functional group is oxygen. Aldehyde is R group to a CHO, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So like an alcohol, but an extra carbon. Ketone is a carbon and an oxygen to the R groups on either side. Carboxylic acid, again, Cu. Two oxygens, a hydrogen to a carbon, and an R group. Acid chloride, carbon, oxygen, and a chlorine atom to an R group. And then, so the R groups are bound to the carbon. And then Ester is 2 oxygens coming off the carbon, and then another R group on the other side as well. Anhydride, you have basically carbon, and then oxygen to another carbon oxygen. So 3 oxygens total, and 2 carbons in addition to the R group. And then amine is an NH2 group to the R. Cyanide is a carbon triple bound to nitrogen to the R. Isocyanide is R to the nitrogen, triple bound to carbon. It's just backwards. And then alkyl nitrile, another nitrogen and oxygen on either side. One single bound, one double bound to the R group. So just these are showing the what they look like, their geometry. So benzene ring is a 6 carbon alternating double bonds. We got the different kinds of molecules shown here. So alkane, alkene, alkyne. So carbon, double bond here, triple bond here. Amine has nitrogen. So alcohol, ether, alkyl halide. Thiol is a sulfur group. Aldehyde, ketone. Ester has 2 oxygens. Carboxylic acid as well, 2 oxygens. Amide, another nitrogen group. So nitrile, triple bound nitrogen. Epoxide has oxygen. Disulfide, 2 sulfurs. Imine, nitrogen group. Acid chloride has oxygen and chlorine. Anhydride has 3 oxygens in there. Nitro means a nitrogen with 2 oxygens. Sulfide has the sulfur, also called thio. Ether. More groups. Ane, single bonded carbons. Ene, double bonded carbons. Ine, triple bonded carbon. Alcohol, OH. Ether, COC. Amine, CNC. So halocarbon is with chlorine, fluoride, bromine, or iodine attached to the carbon. Ketone, C, double bound O, and then 2 extra C's. C double bound O, carbon, hydrogen, aldehyde, carboxylic acid, Cu to the carbon, ester, carbon, 2 oxygens, more carbons, 2 more carbons. Amide, carbon, double bound oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon. So showing the polarities, hydroxyl methyl, CH3 group is nonpolar. Hydroxyl is polar. Carbonyl is polar. C double bound O. Carboxyl charged. The Cu group ionizes to release hydrogen ions into solution, and it's acidic. Amino and N group, 2 H's. Its charge accepts hydrogens to form NH3. So removes hydrogen from solution and is therefore basic. And phosphate, P, 2 OH groups, a double bound oxygen and a single bound oxygen, releases hydrogen and is acidic. Thank you.